Wake Up Women is how the name of the Indian organization Jagori translates. For nearly 30 years, the Delhi-based organization has campaigned for women's rights and on behalf of victims of violence. And it has played a major role in shaping the women's movement in India. Sunita Dar is the director of Jagori.
Jagori provides services for women survivors of violence. We run counseling and support centers. We have 3 of them in Delhi, and we get both walk-in cases as well as women who reach us via the email or via telephone, and then we accompany them through the process of their journey to redressal and justice.
Many women in Delhi are afraid to walk the streets alone, especially after nightfall. Male perpetrators of violence benefit from the city's poor infrastructure.
We are a member of a steering committee which the Lieutenant Governor chairs, which is called UTPEC, which is really looking at all the urban infrastructure development in Delhi. And in that we have incorporated gender lens to the safety guidelines. So there's a whole thing of looking at it from the women's point of view and from the safety lens. Now this work was done before December 16th. It's just that December 16th pushed it to make it an important part of the agenda and to get it approved very quickly.
On December 16, 2012, a young woman was gang raped on a bus and ultimately died from her injuries. The incident changed India, and the global attention it drew gave India's women courage.
From January 2013 till date, we have received 287 calls so far. So after the 16 December incident, definitely there have been an increase in the number of calls. I mean, it has been increased 3 times than what we have been getting so far.
Young women in particular are now finding the strength to defend themselves against male violence. Kalpana Viswanath recognizes the unique opportunity offered by the current situation.
Our role is to facilitate them to decide what they want to do, which decision do they want to take as an individual, but also as a collective. Because one of the things that is very important to understand is that a collective voice has a lot more power than an individual voice.
The time-honored High Court in Lahore is one of the arenas where a prominent Pakistani lawyer does battle. Human rights activist Asma Jahangir has fought for a secular civil society in Pakistan and the realization of women's rights since she was 18.
I believe that we have to work, and as I say, these are 5 fingers. You have to organize women, because only women will be able to get the best ideas and creative ideas for themselves, and to build their networks, strong networks, so that these form really solid platforms. Link them to the mainstream human rights and political movements. Put women in decision-making powers. Challenge traditional norms and traditional thinking. And then to internationalize your movement.
Asma Jahangir has established key structures in Pakistan and has been active for the UN. But she never felt compelled to accept government positions that were offered to her.
Well, I refuse to be a judge because I'm basically an activist. And I like to feel people, I like to talk to them. I like to listen, I like to touch. And I think a judge cannot do that. And I hate to sit on judgment on other people, especially because of the complex circumstances here.
Asma Jahangir remains first and foremost an activist and seeks to raise awareness of important issues with the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, which she founded in 1986.
Basically, it's a very chauvinistic society. And the chauvinistic society will first hit the most vulnerable. And women were hit by every dictator and by a social norm that had so much religiosity and double standards. All the traditions that we see in many of these countries are basically at the expense of the dignity of women. Why not at the dignity of the man?
As a lawyer, Asma Jahangir also defends members of religious minorities accused of blasphemy. She also fights against oppressive religious laws.
There cannot be a question about honor killing. And my voice was one of the first to be raised against it, and people at that point did not understand, not even the judges understood, why we are raising our voices against it. And I believe that a woman has as much honor as a man. So she's responsible for her own honor.
This position has turned Asma Jahangir into a target for Pakistan's religious fanatics and zealots.
I have to carry security, but sometimes in the beginning you are aware that you are being surrounded by security, but eventually it just goes at the back of your mind. You carry on life, but if you have to think about yourself all the time, then it's best to give up, and then you won't need security also.
The mighty mountain ranges that connect Pakistan to neighboring Afghanistan provide a safe haven for those who would sow intolerance and religious fanaticism in Afghan society. Not too far from the lively university campus are the offices of the Afghan Women's Network, the country's largest group of its kind. More than 100 member organizations participate in the network's efforts. Hasina Safi talks about what the network has achieved so far.
If Afghan Women Network wouldn't be here, you would not see 3 women in the cabinet of Afghanistan. You would not see, because the founding members of Afghan Women Network were in the committees of development Afghan constitution. So that indicator which you see, the 25% participation of women, it was very strongly advocated by the founding members of Afghan Women Network to be included.
The network launched its most effective and well-publicized campaign to date, Green Scarves for Solidarity, in 2011 at the Afghanistan Conference in Bonn. Since then, the green scarf has become a symbol of women's participation in the political process. Yet, as in India and Pakistan, it takes great courage to stand up for women's rights, as Lida Jacobi explains.
Working on the women's rights issue or being as a woman activist itself is a risk, to be honest. We cannot say that, no, we did not face any threat, any risk. We face. But we simply ignore the risk, because if we feel fair and stop our works, then who will work for the women's rights? We have to find the solution for the risk, for the threat, and we have to continue our work.
The network is characterized by close cooperation among its members and a single voice to the public. Given the elections in 2014 and the upcoming final withdrawal of ISAF troops from Afghanistan, communicating women's issues to the world is taking on new importance. Much will depend on convincing the international community to provide long-term support.
We are trying to reflect our voice all over the world, wherever it is. People think it's a very big organization with many cars, with a very big... No, but it's a very small team with a lot of commitment, with a lot of hard work, with a lot of honesty, and with a lot of mental and moral feeling to reflect the voice of women outside.